Remember that time Percy Jackson shot himself?
You mean literally 20 minutes ago?
Yeah.
That was cool.
So we're not really sure. We just finished seeing NXT TakeOver, and it looked like Percy Jackson shit himself and or has a severe case of the butt sweats.
Yep.
But anyway, that's not important at all.
Except that it was because I couldn't focus on anything but his ass for a while.
But yeah, man, we got NXT TakeOver, and I gotta say, after watching Jeff Jarrett maul a fucking song for what seemed like 2,000 years, and a super, super cringe-inducing introduction speech from Molly Holly, followed by one of the worst speeches ever from Ivory, this was a relief. So I'll say that.
It's true. And it was like half the length of that entire event.
So that's good. Anyway, we were ready to watch this.
Yep.
And we haven't even seen WrestleMania yet, and it's already safe to say that this beat WrestleMania once again. Although this year's WrestleMania looks to be good. I mean, it's just the standard now that NXT is going to steal the show. Yeah. And I think they've done that already. So from now on, it's like the thing to whenever we see an event that's preceded by NXT takeovers, it's just like, all right, we got to separate these two because comparatively there's nothing in comparison. So yeah, it was a fantastic event. The card was packed with relevant matches, which is more than you can say for WrestleMania, which has relevant matches, but then there's a lot of matches you're like, I could do without this. Yep. This one, everything mattered in this event. Everything had stakes, either legitimate, i.e. belts, and or emotional. But let's break this fucker down.
Much like Percy's pants broke down at the side of his caca.
That was the worst sentence ever.
Yep.
I was going to go more to something like, much like Percy Jackson's bladder could not hold at the side of Ciampa coming at him. But anyway, the first match was a ladder match for the U.S. Championship, which was just introduced a few weeks ago. And it was a 6-man match, which had Killian Dane, Lars Sullivan, and Adam Cole, and Velveteen Dream, and 2 newcomers, EC3, and Ricochet. So, full of big names, full of people being pushed, pretty predominantly. And the newcomers, I mean, this is big. Straight off their introduction, they're in a pretty important match for the new championship belt. So, who did you want to win in this match of all the 6?
I mean, I knew it wasn't gonna happen because it was literally his debut match, at least televised one. But I was kind of rooting for my boy Ricochet, despite the fact that he betrayed Lucha Underground.
Yep. Yeah.
But he's my boy. But I knew it wasn't gonna happen. Realistically, not gonna happen. I was thinking maybe either Killian Dane or Adam Cole, and turns out one of those was right. But I was going for Ricochet despite the fact that I knew it wasn't going to happen.
Yeah, I was kind of. I mean, yeah, the fanboy in me wanted Ricochet to win, but yeah, that's not going to happen. It would have been interesting if they let either him or EC3 win it, because it would have been WWE acknowledging something that they normally don't acknowledge, and these guys have a storied career and they've built characters. And I'm glad to see that the foundation of their characters is intact even now coming into the NXT. It's not like they really totally ignored what they were before, so that's good. But yeah, I mean, obviously, fanboy like you, I wanted to see Ricochet win, but that didn't happen. I thought, honestly, that Adam Cole or Lars Sullivan was going to win. And one of those won. So you probably guessed it by now. Adam Cole wins. The way he won was... basically, they boiled down the end of the match was there were 6 men, all on ladders. Eventually, those were narrowed down to Lars, who was making his way up. One of several times he got close to it, much to the chagrin of everybody in the audience.
And me.
And Lars was taken out by Ricochet. Ricochet was going for it. It looked like he was going to get it. And then Cole came in and basically pushed him out of the ring and went and got that belt. So, sounds kind of uneventful, but considering all that happened in the match, it felt like the right thing, and it felt like the right thing for Cole to do at that particular moment in time. But let's talk about this. What's up? What you think?
It was pretty damn great. I don't know if it was my favorite because of a match that came later, but it was up there, man. It was pretty damn great. pretty painful at times. EC3's face nearly got crushed by two fat men. But yeah, it was really cool. I liked it quite a bit.
Yeah, this was quite the beginning to it, and it was really a risky beginning to a takeover because, I mean, it set a pretty high standard.
Yeah.
Just the roster of people in it, you knew that it was gonna be interesting to see. You have two large men, bruisers, not afraid to throw their bodies into the mix. You have big personalities in there with Adam Cole and EC3 that are also, of course, very physically capable. And then you got two, high flyers, the athletic motherfuckers, and Ricochet and Velveteen Dream. So basically, we got different styles, different personalities, all thrown into the mix. One of the things I said as we began to watch this was like, man, it's really risky to throw Ricochet and EC3 in their initial match. Stick in these big bruiser types in there with them because, the risks amplify. And then on top of that, this was a ladder match. And it was so much high flying, I think... I was like, it was almost like courting in a new, like, is this possible that we're courting in something new here? Or I suppose we could say reintegrating something new. We've seen it in NXT before, but it was so much of it here that I was like, damn, this is insane.
It was reminiscent to the War Games where it was just people jumping off and almost freaking killing each other and shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. Even the big guys were doing some high spots and shit.
And we expect that from Killian Dane. And so far, Lars has proven that, he's kind of like that monster destroyer type.
But he did take some risks.
Yeah, he actually took, some bumps.
I'm not a huge Lars fan. But if I were to come in solely on this match, I'd be like, yeah, that guy's pretty cool. Because he's like jumping off ropes and shit. Breaking his stanky legs.
Yeah, I like Lars. But yeah, it was nice to see, him expand beyond what he's already established as. Which is, that kind of weird monster guy. But here, yeah, it was cool, man. It was really neat. What the fuck is this? It was really neat to see him do all that stuff. When him and Killian put everybody through the ladders. Yeah. Man, that was a painful spot.
We'll say Velvet. There was some painful. When this match was over, I was like, damn, that was a stiff ass match. Again, a little premature in my thought. Because of a later match, but that being said, it's still really, really painful. Freaking people busting their domes and shit. Really, really interesting. We don't really see that much in wrestling nowadays, at least not in WWE. So it was neat to see that.
Lots of high risk.
Velveteen Dream busting his abs apparently.
Yeah, Velveteen Dream dropping an elbow on Lars. Lars took a lot of bumps in this, I gotta say. But anyway, he dropped an elbow from Lars from the top of the ladder. He did his rolling, what is it? I forgot what it's called. The rolling move that he does on Ricochet on a ladder. Looked pretty, they made it by the skin of their teeth.
He jumped off the top of a freaking ladder, landed on someone, freaking low. Since then, he was holding his stomach.
So that's good.
It kind of looked like he hurt himself. I mean, we don't know yet, but it looked pretty painful.
Either way, everybody was selling great, either legitimately or not. And for those of anybody that was worried that Ricochet wouldn't be doing what he does and what he's known for, he displayed more than plenty of it here. And considering it was a 6-man match, that says a lot. He actually put in a lot of that work that he is renowned for. Whether you've known him as Ricochet, King Ricochet, or Prince Puma, or whatever the fuck. You expect something out of him, and he gave it to us. So that was fucking cool. Damn near broke his damn dome when who was it? Killian and Lars, I think, that didn't catch him,
Lars,
or Adam Cole. Yeah, damn near broke his dome. But anyway, everybody.
Also, Lars, we're pretty sure Lars's eardrum burst or some shit because
something
blood was pouring out.
Something on his face burst, and it kind of looked like it was coming from his ear, or I hope not, but. Anyway,
it didn't look good.
People got hurt.
Yeah.
But it all looked fantastic. And I got to say, the right person won.
Yeah.
Even though I wanted Ricochet to win, obviously that wasn't going to happen.
It was time for him to look.
Yeah. And this was a great way to seal, or begin to seal, as we would later find out, the legitimacy of the Undisputed Era. Which we already had a good feeling for them. But it seemed that Adam Cole was the only one that was faltering. And we needed him to take that role, to come into that, leader role.
Back up the talking shit.
Yeah, and he definitely did that in this particular match. and he did it in a heelish way, but still in a legitimate way. It wasn't like the push was I'm completely a heel.
Yeah.
It was that's what he needed to do at that moment, and considered he'd taken a huge bump off on a table previously. It was all sold very well. Excellent, I gotta say, excellent match. And again, it kind of scared me for the rest of the event because man, they're setting standards here.
We have seen other WWE events where the opening kicks ass and the rest sucks donkeys.
And that's
not on NXT.
Yeah,
usually.
not on NXT. But this was so good that you were kind of like, oh shit, what the fuck. Anyway, the next match was Ember Moon versus Shayna Baszler for the Women's Championship, the NXT Women's Championship. Who are you rooting for in this one, and why?
I think as a fan and as her being my girl, I was going for Ember Moon. But realistically, I think the right person won because they are pushing her.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes sense for her to win.
Yeah.
And it makes sense to continue the feud. But yeah, I mean, obviously, I knew who was going to... Or I had a feeling of who was going to win. It was still shocking, and in the way it happened, it was pretty shocking.
Mm-hmm.
But I was going for Ember, and she lost. Spoiler.
I honestly expected Ember to retain. I didn't think they were going to take that big a risk yet. But I did feel that they had to take that risk at this particular moment. I just didn't think they were. But it's not Vince completely in control of this. So thankfully that did happen. I actually wanted Shayna to win. And of course, you know that I like Ember a lot. But I actually wanted Shayna to win because of that reason. You know, her story is going so well. And it was the right time to do that. And it was still shocking. Like you said, it was still like, holy shit, she actually won. And the way she won was kind of unexpected as well. So anyway, the way she did win was Ember went for an eclipse from the top rope. It was reversed into a Kirifuda clutch. And eventually Ember Moon just tapered out. She just fucking was out.
After a while.
It. You know, it lasted a good while. And then she was done. And it was pretty shocking. It was pretty interesting. The whole match, though, was fantastic. And again, it was one of those where you're like, now we're going to see the women's... Again, and the women's division is very... it's one of the best things about the main roster right now. But then, you compare it and you're like, there's no comparison. These girls just far outdid whatever they're probably going to do in WrestleMania. But anyway, it looked fantastic. What did you think? Any downsides to it? Upsides? What's up?
I think the strength of it was you did see another side of Ember Moon.
Mm-hmm.
She was a lot more aggressive.
Yeah.
Like, really aggressive. Again, there was a lot of stiffness in this one. Mostly from Ember Moon, which was surprising. Given that she's the face, it was kind of like, damn, she's freaking handing out the hits. But again, storyline built up to that, so it was fine.
Yeah, it was almost like she was in a point of desperation.
Yeah.
Where she had to kind of resort to almost heelish moves.
Yeah.
By taking on Shayna Baszler's arm breaker. I forgot what it's called. So that's good of me.
Yeah.
But, she basically employed that on her and kind of disabled her for a bit. And then they made Shayna Baszler look like a badass by having her pop her shoulder back in, quote unquote.
Mm-hmm. And Nigel have to explain it to us.
Nigel doing
endlessly.
Nigel doing a main roster commentary and having to explain it on the nose.
Yep.
But whatever. It just looked great, And even on or off the ring, everything looked pretty solid.
Yeah,
stiff at times.
There was a couple kind of, I wouldn't say misses, but there was a couple kind of rough looking moves. But they actually ended up working because of how aggressive they were being.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, I don't even mind.
And this does wonders to whatever way they decide to go with Ember Moon, whether they choose to push her to the edge where, she flips out, or, as I suspect they will, to keep Shayna going on this, big, bully, dominating route that she's been going on. Either way, it's going to work because of what happened in this match and the way it was all carried out. So that's fantastic. One thing I do have to say against this fucking match, or I should say it's not against the match, it's against who was in the fucking crowd supporting Shayna Baszler. And that's fucking Ronda Rousey.
That was
which she's supposed to be like a baby face at the moment, and so that's pretty weird. And
that made sense.
And we understand, of course, the difference between real life and kayfabe, but
still,
it's still odd that the company would let them do that, but so that
was a thing.
Yeah, that was weird. What can I say? It was odd to me. But anyway, great match, great follow up. The next match was the tag team championship, but it was also the finals of the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic because of the interference that Undisputed Era partook in as the final two tag teams were duking it out previous week. And I gotta say that's still like a weird interference, but it's good that it ended up in this match.
Yeah.
So anyway, the three teams were the Undisputed Era, which had Adam Cole have to supplant Albert Fish because Albert Fish is out.
Yeah.
Okay. Fish is out on injury, and so Adam Cole had to come in and fill his role after the ladder match, and they made kind of a little deal about that, which is cool. And so basically the bulk of the storyline, of the action was on Kyle O'Reilly for the majority of the match. Then we had the Authors of Pain, and of course the kind of last minute slap together grouping of Peter Dunne and Roderick Strong, which I thought it was odd that they had gotten that high up in the Dusty Rhodes Classic, but it became evident here why that was.
Yeah.
And I gotta say it was awesome. We'll talk about that and why that's relevant right here, but I can't say it without spoiling at the end. So let's talk about this match. What'd you think? Strengths, weaknesses, who stood out, etc.
Ooh, I'm trying not to say the end.
No, I mean we're gonna get to that eventually.
Okay. My boy that I used to hate but now love, Roddy, kicking massive ding-a-lings in this one.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm kind of glad. I mean, can I bring it up? I'm kind of glad.
Well, first let's do it this way.
Yeah.
Who did you want to win? Who did you think was gonna win?
I wanted my little boy Rod to win, and Pete, but
Pete.
Because they were kind of like the odd team.
Yeah.
And they're cool.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think the Authors of Pain were gonna win. I thought freaking little fish boy and retard face were gonna win the Undisputed Era. Sorry, I'm falling apart here. I thought they were gonna win. Not in the way it happened, but I did think that was gonna happen.
Yeah, me too. I thought Adam Cole was being pushed to outer space in this particular event, and I thought that's what was going to happen.
Yeah.
And the way the match was going, it seemed that way because at one point he was taken out completely from the events of the match, and this is actually where he went through the table. By the way, I mentioned that in the earlier match. Yeah. But this is where he went through the table, and he was taken out of the match completely. And I thought, this is it. He's going to come in later in the match, and he's going to scoop up this win, and thus further solidify the Undisputed Era. Well, further solidifying the Undisputed Era is what happened.
Yeah.
It just happened in a completely unexpected fashion. I didn't think the Authors of Pain were going to win because they already won last year, so that was a given. But I did want Dunne and Strong to win because they were kind of like that odd man out group, and there were two personalities that should have matched together, two styles that was odd to see together. But they're both awesome. Two of my favorites, and it was just like, I hope they win, and it would have been cool if they, and it wouldn't have been far-fetched if they had. However, what ended up happening was that Dunne, let me see, hold on, Dunne applied the bitter end to O'Reilly. That would be your
little retard,
the man you call the retard.
Yeah.
Dunne applied the bitter end to O'Reilly. At this point, Roderick Strong came in with an interference. Basically, he swooped in with a fucking knee, taking out Dunne, knocking him out completely. Then he scoops up O'Reilly, who was already, fucked up from the bitter end, and he puts him over Dunne, and that's the count. And what follows is Roderick Strong basically accepting the, 2 months ago offer or so, 2 months or so ago, offer from the Undisputed Era to join them. And this was just a great piece of storytelling. One, because we've seen Roderick Strong time and again attempt to make a name for himself in NXT, and then ultimately come up just a bit too short. And it always looks great, but he never quite makes it. And it was great that they brought back that one thread to justify him basically turning heel, not only on Dunn, but on the NXT universe. And I mean, that was just, again, unexpected because of how much of a good guy, babyface character Strong was up to this point, and how well he was meshing with, Strong, how well he was meshing with Dunn, and it came out of the blue, even though technically we kind of should have expected it.
Yeah.
But anyway, he takes Adam Cole's Undisputed Era armband, slaps it on himself, helps him up, and they celebrate in unison. And basically, there's a new era to the Undisputed Era coming to the NXT.
Yeah.
And this was great. All around, I mean, just concretely solidified this particular stable, added to it in a way that, I mean, fuck, what can you say? Speechless.
I'm pretty happy with it because the second it happened, freaking Strong got like a little douche smile.
Yeah.
I was like, oh man, he's going to be good as a heel.
Yeah.
And, despite the fact that they have corrected his character and not being a complete boring douche like he was at first, he does still have some weaknesses when it comes to delivery. That being said, I think that'll be corrected in his heel run.
Yeah, I mean, he's been a heel before in the Indies. And,
yeah, he's like that was like one of his biggest runs.
Yeah, here it is, And yeah, you're right. Even though he eventually came into, once they actually gave him a storyline, came into the role of a babyface and did it exceptionally well. Got me on board for sure. And even though we now have known him as this, and he got the whole crowd behind him as this, what a great time to turn him heel. And yeah, he's going to be fantastic as that. So that's pretty awesome, man. That was a great ending. The whole match in itself was fantastic. The people, everybody getting their time to, show their strengths. Everybody doing their own particular style. Authors of Pain, laying waste to everybody here and there. But really, it just boiled down to the elements that needed this ending to come through, which, I mean, it was one of the strongest
Pretty
matches.
good.
Yeah. So anyway, the next match was...
Oh, wait. I gotta also mention that our boy, Kyle O'Reilly, does his little title play.
Shit, man.
And
all right, look. First of all...
They cut away. When he does it, when he's walking down, he starts doing it, and they cut away, which I took credit for. It was like, man, they gotta have seen our vid and been like, no, they didn't see our vid.
Nobody saw our vid.
Nope.
But the point, right after they fucking win, Roderick's done his thing.
Yep.
Kyle O'Reilly starts doing his little guitar playing fucking title shit.
And they can't cut away.
And he does this weird little leg strut thing with it that sucked my ass. Couldn't cut away from it fast enough. But then further, when they're up the ramp, he does it again.
Yeah, he does. And it was the worst one yet.
Shit. They did cut away from that one though, so that's a good thing. Anyway, the next match was Aleister Black versus Andrade Cien Almas. And who did you expect to win? Who did you want to win? Etc.
Realistically, I mean, Black was gonna win. I'm kind of digging my boy Almas though, for some damn reason. So I was kind of going for him, despite the fact that I'm a Aleister fan. Also, this one could have gone either way, and I would have been happy. In other words. Mm-hmm. But, realistically, Aleister Black was going to win.
I think we could say that about every match. It could have gone any way.
Yeah, that's true.
For anybody, and it would have been... That's the thing about NXT. No matter who wins, you're kind of like, these people have earned their keep.
Yeah.
Even if I know the crowd wasn't digging them, but even if pretty cool when I forget it.
All right.
Pretty cool when I forget his fucking name. Lars, who you hate. Even if Lars had won, the 6-man match.
Really big Lars fan, I can see.
I like Lars, man.
Forgetting his name.
But anyway, even if he had won, he's earned his keep and then stay. Anybody, there's no losing with the NXT matches. But anyway, for this one, of course, I wanted Aleister Black to win because he's one of my favorites. And on top of that, I was almost 100% sure he was going to win. One, because Cien Almas became the champ by serendipitous, if unfortunate events. He wasn't supposed to be the champ, but he did become the champ. Not that he didn't deserve that champ. I mean, he gave us one of the few 5-star matches that the WWE has earned in years. But, we know that, the authority management has their way about certain things, and they're not about to admit that was the case.
That being said, they gave him a pretty good run.
Yeah, they did, and that's the good thing. There was enough of a build-up here to make this a relevant match.
Yeah.
And, of course, Aleister has been built pretty fucking magnificently, too. And I didn't think they were going to break a streak just yet. So there was that to consider. And I think it was, an inevitability that he was going to get the belt. So I thought this was going to go the way it did go. And that is that Aleister Black wins. The way he won was through interference, basically, because Zelina Vega, Cien Almas' manager, kept interfering in the match to the benefit of Cien Almas. At the ass end of it, she goes for a crossbody off the top rope, ends up missing Aleister, and Cien Almas catches her, which Aleister turns into a black mass, and he's out for the count. But there was a lot of false finishes up to that point, which were pretty great. A lot of reversal work in this that was pretty awesome too, I gotta say. And their styles meshed particularly well. We got a more lucha libre style, and this more, kind of like a striker style. But they're both so athletic that they meshed incredibly well. I mean, and I gotta say, I liked Zelina Vega interfering so much.
Yeah.
One, to amp up Alma's, kind of fucking heelish ways.
And also, I thought if Aleister Black had lost, it would have been a dirty enough loss.
Yes.
To not be like, so in the moment you're like, oh, he might lose.
Yeah, it would have. Yeah, that's definitely what her. Yeah, that's where I was going with, which is her interference, like you say. If that would have gone that way, it would have been justified. But more than that, I think the benefit of her being so involved was that it added that air of mystery, of possibility that he would lose, which was good, man. But overall, the match was fantastic. Anything you didn't like from it?
Not really. It was pretty good. Again, our boy Almas bringing on the good matches in my book.
Mm-hmm.
And my boy Marcus's girl freaking interfering all the time, which I really like. I hope they continue his little push they give him, because it would be a shame to see him go back to the back burner, because he has really come into his own character in the last couple months. But I don't think this loss will make him disappear, because they've built him up pretty well, I thought.
I think this is a good chance for them to allow him to acclimate a lot more to his surroundings, because let's face it, the language barrier is
not good.
It's a big problem for Almas, if you can't speak, that's not good.
Nope.
And he does have Zelina Vega, which is, that's a good pairing right there, to have her speak for him. But then for some confusing reason, they insist on having him speak some more, and it kind of doesn't work half the time. But his body of in-ring work is so good that, that's really negligible that he's that bad. But it could present I shouldn't even say could. It will present a problem for him in the main roster. So this is a good chance to develop him as a character. Allow him maybe the chance to, get a sounder grasp on the English language, or allow Zelina Vega to really take that role on a lot more and be his voice. Either way, it's a good opportunity for him to recollect and do something about the little things that, might encumber him. That being said, like you said, he is fantastic in the ring. He's amazing to watch in the ring. And, these guys played off each other pretty badass. Great match. But really, the evening was about this. And that says a lot, because that was the NXT Championship match, by the way.
Yeah, and it wasn't the main event.
So Black is our new NXT Championship. But really, everybody was tuned in for one reason. Well, one is that it's NXT, and it's going to be good. Yeah. So I should say two reasons. But the real big reason everybody was tuned into this was Ciampa versus Gargano, which I gotta say, if you're not familiar with the storyline, how can you not be? But most of all, this is like a masterclass in allowing a story to tell itself. You know, they've basically done nothing to this story.
Yeah.
They've let emotions and crowd reactions tell the story. You know, very little has been put out there other than the bare essentials about these two, the breakup of DIY and why they're butting heads. And all the blank spaces have been filled in by the crowd and reactions and emotions. You know, and I mean, testament to that is how they receive these people. You know, whether it be straight up fuck yous towards Ciampa or, you know, the Johnny Wrestling chants or what have you. You know, it's just, there was so much emotional investment from the audience in either camp that there was no way this match could have been botched city.
Yeah. And
it would have panned out well because people were invested in the storyline and the characters, where they were at, what had happened, etc.
Not to mention that this baby had been building for like eons.
Yeah. You know what? And that's fantastic. And this goes to show that you don't need to rush a storyline.
Yeah.
And this goes to show that sometimes injury can be serendipitous indeed, because Ciampa was legitimately injured and he was out for quite a while. But that gave Johnny Wrestling a time to really, well, I should say Johnny Gargano a time to become Johnny Wrestling to this entirely different crowd.
Yeah, and then they build the storyline with him continuously losing and then losing his job.
Yeah.
Which then just happened to bring back Ciampa.
Yeah,
it was like really well done.
The stakes were super high because of that. You know, he had literally worked himself out of the industry, so to speak.
Yeah.
And here was a unsanctioned match, as they call it, basically anything goes match with Ciampa to not only reinstate himself, but to end this bigger storyline, this overarching storyline. So it was, like I said, a masterclass in storytelling and testament that you don't need, like they do so often in the main roster, to have every fucking thing spoon-fed to you.
Yeah.
Every moment by everybody. This is why this is happening, and let me say that in dialogue, and you don't need that.
Building up to this, there was a couple episodes of NXT where Ciampa would just come out and be booed, and that's it. That's all you needed. They wouldn't interfere. They wouldn't be like, oh, look, they hate him because of this.
Yeah.
It was like, come on, dude. Show some restraint.
So, I mean, kudos to whoever came up with this idea, and whoever played it off so well on top of the performers, because projecting your emotions onto somebody, this is what this is about. So anyway, who did you want to win, and who did you expect to win?
Who I expect to win and who I wanted to win was the same person, and the thing is, the person everybody wanted to win. That's my boy Gargarg, because he's deserved it. And our boy Ciampa is kind of an asshole, the way he's been being built.
Yeah, I actually wanted Ciampa to win because it would throw in a different shade to this whole endeavor. I expected Gargano to win, obviously, because it would be hard to find a different way to bring him back in. Yeah. However, they could have done it. I mean, it's like, you know, bringing somebody back. Your fired matches and all that shit, it's like superheroes dying in comics. You know it's going to be an eventuality when they come back. So I thought that would be a worthy risk, if only to build Ciampa up more as a heel and allow him more ring work, considering basically he hadn't done anything up to this point. So I wanted Ciampa to win for that reason. Story-wise, obviously, you know, Gargano's the guy that you knew was going to win. And that is what happened. And the way it happened was actually super interesting. He they stalemated each other. They, you know, gassed each other out to the point of
making Percy Watson shit himself.
Yeah, that's how bad they gassed each other out. But this was like a brutal grudge match is what it was. The unsanctioned part took its toll on their bodies, on the things that they did, and it got to the point where basically it was a stalemate. They both were gassed out completely, but Gargano gets up, gets a hold of some crutches, which were from a guy that was clearly set up to be in the crowd. Evidenced by the fact that there was nobody around him, by the way, and that the crutches were brand new, complete with UPC stickers on them. But anyway, whatever. he got a hold of that one of them crutches, snapped it in half for some reason. I couldn't exactly. I don't know where that was gonna go.
Stab him, I guess.
Anyway, it didn't work out, the little snapping.
No.
So he got the crookedest crutch of all time, and he was about to beat down
Stab him,
Ciampa.
maybe. Let's just go with stabbing.
I'm not gonna go with stabbing because we don't know what the fuck was happening with that thing. But he was about to do that, and he ended up showing some mercy, some sympathy towards Ciampa. Takes a seat beside him. At that point, Ciampa attacks, and Gargano reverses it into a Gargano lock, and then furthers that reverse, or reinforces the agony of that reverse by turning it into an STF lock with Ciampa's leg brace over his face, which eventually forces Ciampa to tap out. But up to that point, they literally beat the living shit out of each other.
Yeah.
Well, with some spots that made us go, geez, man, like a brutal off the top rope backbreaker. Ciampa stomping on fucking Gargano's cerebellum.
Yeah, there were several points in this where I'm like, dude, stop hitting his freaking dome. You ever heard of Chris Benoit?
It was pretty brutal, man. And again, the way it was done, it told the story.
Yeah.
And it allowed the audience to take sides and become part of the journey of this match. And that only increased as the match went along. So, you know, even if you were uninvested at the beginning, which it's hard to imagine that you wouldn't be unless you hadn't watched the build up to this story, by the end you're invested because you begin to reflect the emotions of the crowd nevertheless. Especially if you're Percy, when at one point Gargano shoots Ciampa over the table and he gets up and it looks like he has a big ass stain on him. I don't know if that's true, but apparently it looked that way.
Look, I'm not going to lie. I noticed it. It looked like he had a massive wet stain on his ass. I quickly scrambled to ask you who the guy in the khaki suit was. You told me it was Percy. And after that, I was just trying to see his ass to confirm.
Kind of distracted you from the match
for like about 10 minutes. I was just trying to see Percy's ass just to confirm if he shat himself or not. But
we're actually going to go back and watch that.
Yeah, we are. After that, hashtag Percy's caca. but after that, I was once again invested, and it takes a lot to bring me back into a match when someone potentially shat themselves. That being said, something to make my argument that he did shit himself stronger. He didn't say shit for the rest of the match. He had like 3 lines after that. Deathly quiet. He was like, "Oh man, there's some boom-a-loons. It's not good." He was also standing against the wall
for a long time.
But anyway, back to the match. Yeah,
man. Percy's fucking shit aside, the match was excellent. And again, by the end, if you thought they had done brilliant work with the storytelling on this, by the end of this, it's multiplied times 10. And exceptionally brutal spots in this. Backs to concrete. Yeah. All kinds of jacked up shit these guys put their bodies through.
Little crutches to backs.
Yeah.
Cerebellums being destroyed.
Let me tell you, some of those crutch hits,
they were pretty bad.
They looked fucking painful as hell.
There was a lot of punches in this also.
Yeah.
And they look legit. Some of them. Most of them.
Yeah, they were really doing well.
It was really stiff, yeah.
On making it look good. And in fact, you know what? At one point, Gargano has Ciampa up on the ropes, and he's raining down blows on him. And I mean, obviously they work together to work out the intricacies of the match. So I'm sure somewhere along the way they decided we're gonna make this look as legitimate as possible because, as you said, some of the stuff looked really stiff. And this is the point where I thought that had happened because he's raining blows down on him. I don't know if you noticed, but Ciampa actually brings it to a stop. And the moment he does that, Gargano pulls back and goes into the move. So I'm pretty sure they agreed they were going to go that far to make this work so well. And it works. And I mean, people loved it. We loved it. Match of the night for you or not?
Yeah, I'll say it was match of the night. Early on, I was thinking the opening match was going to be the match of the night. The ladder match because it started so strong. But I was wrong. This one was pretty damn great.
This is one of those.
This is one of those match of the year contenders early on.
Yeah,
for me.
Some of the WWE main roster events end up being turd sandwiches sometimes.
Yeah.
Where we have a good match at the beginning, good match at the end, and everything in the middle stinks. Or sometimes it's reversed.
A Percy sandwich, if you will.
A Percy sandwich. This was just like a sandwich that has the best meats in the middle. You know what I'm saying? And it just so happens the bread is made of even better meats. So it's just meat. So you're getting some protein out of it or some shit. The point is, the whole event kicks ass. It starts strong, it ends strong, and the middle never bores you. It keeps your attention, on the screen and entertains you just as well. This is a win through and through.
Yeah.
Again, NXT does it again. Tomorrow's WrestleMania. 7 fucking hours. But what I love about WrestleMania is that, unlike these events, there's gonna be there's that. There's a big but see, that's part of the appeal of WrestleMania is that there's a big potential for things to go wrong, horribly wrong.
Yeah.
And since everything boils down to that one event, it's almost like watching a car crash.
Yeah.
And then at the same time, there's a lot of good matches.
That's what I love about these NXT things is they give them, 2-3 months to build?
Yeah.
Maybe not even that long. But it feels like they're building up their storylines.
Yeah.
And that the takeovers are warranted, whereas some of the pay-per-views in Maine are just like, woo! They are scrapping for storylines. And we're even seeing some of those matches in WrestleMania, which is a damn shame.
Yeah.
But
case in point, Bobby Roode, Mahal, and fucking Orton.
That's exactly what I was thinking about.
And Rollins, Miz, and fucking Finn. They managed to not make me give a shit about him. Balor.
Yeah.
Those storylines are stinkers, and they're gonna be, featured in Mania. So yeah, but NXT doesn't suffer from any of that, thankfully. And so anyway, watch this if you haven't seen it yet. If you saw it, what are your thoughts?
Let us know if Percy Watson shat himself, because I want to get to the end of this.
Literally. Anyway, this has been Ahab and the Goontick talking NXT TakeOver New Orleans. Hit like, share, subscribe. Also check out our other channel, $10 Slimer, for all kinds of weird shit that we do over there. And we're out.
Hashtag Percy's Caca.
Hashtag Moolah's Worms. Hashtag that uterus trophy, though. Anyway. Whew.